Hi everyone. Today I'm doing quite a rogue episode. I'm bringing on my boyfriend, Paul, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people curious here and a lot of people thinking, "Oh my gosh, you've got a boyfriend." I literally announced it this week on Instagram and had probably 30 plus people being surprised, super interested. But it is quite rogue because 3 months ago we didn't even know each other.
No, pretty crazy. Didn't know you existed.
No. And I always say this, but to expect the unexpected because anything can happen at any time. And I definitely did not think that I would be coming home for 4 months to England and that I would find a boyfriend. Like I told myself that I wanted to be single for two
Mm.
years, but I do think when you're not looking, that's when you find someone.
Mm.
But it's interesting how we met too. So I came back home thinking I'm not dating. I'm not going to date at all for the 4 months that I'm back. And it was only when my friend Alex was over from Canada and we were on a road trip and she was like, "Why are you blocking yourself from meeting someone? Or why are you blocking yourself from a summer fling?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "Why am I?" And that's when I downloaded Hinge. You don't know this either, but I downloaded Hinge, but also we were chatting about, oh, how would I meet someone? And I was like, obviously, I don't really drink or anything. So I'm not the sort of person that would meet someone by like going out. So I was like, I mean, I was planning to do this anyway. I didn't do it to meet someone, but I was like, I'm going to join the gym, which is funny because, like, obviously you're a PT and I didn't meet you at the gym.
No.
But I was like, that is somewhere where I'd like meet more aligned people because the people that I would be interested in would be into their physical health.
Mm.
But I downloaded Hinge as well. And yeah, like literally met you on like the first week that I was on there. I was gonna say silent.
I'm waiting for a question.
What did you think when you saw me online?
It's hard to think back and think what I thought exactly in the moment. I just remember it being different. Obviously, you had a different profile. Like now, knowing you as a person, obviously you somehow managed to put who you are into a Hinge online dating profile. And obviously, if people know who you are, try and imagine that on a phone screen, written down in little sentences and captions. It was different, like straight away. So that's all I remember. And you were straight up, very confident in talking and messaging as well.
Yeah, I messaged you first. And I asked you out like the first day. The first day we're talking, I was like, "You free on Friday?"
You did, yeah. And what was it? A little sound
We went to a music
music
is
thing.
medicine event, which I wanted to go to. Also, I'm here with like limited time. I've got all these holidays booked, and I was thinking I've literally got one day free this week. So hope you're free.
We squeezed it in. We did. It was very
I,
nice.
remember, I think you replied that I am now.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, I was quite interested. Again, it's the confidence, isn't it? Straight up, because I'm not the sort of person who would ask necessarily straight away. But I'm definitely receiving if if someone says it to me, I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah. Paul's profile, I mean, obviously I was interested in what you look like,
Mm.
and that is a part of like
Of
eating.
course.
But I loved your first prompt, which was about being mindful. And I was like, yeah, this is the kind of person that I'm interested in. And then obviously I could see that you were like into yoga, you had the handstands on there, and I was like, this is really cool because I used to be a gymnast when I was younger, and I obviously like someone who's into their fitness too. But obviously I'm on here and I see that you've got like long-term relationship in your bio. And I've got short-term relationship, but we've matched. And like straight up, I was like, just letting you know, I am only here for 4 months and I'm going back to New Zealand. I live in New Zealand majority of the year. I was like, so just want to check basically. And I really value clear communication. I know that you appreciated that too.
Mm.
And you were like, okay, well, I am looking for long term, but I'm open to short term if the connection feels right.
Mm.
And like hinted that the connection felt right.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I am open to long term. Ideally, I'm looking for short term, but if I met the right person, I wouldn't be upset. I promise you talk tomorrow in real life.
It always takes a while.
So it's really been like an unexpected journey where I went into this with zero expectations and thought, oh, this will be fun. And, I think having a level of detachment really helps you just enjoy the present moment. Because I
Mm.
think so many people go into relationships being like, this is what I want. And if I don't get this, I'm going to be upset. And they're looking 10 steps ahead. And it's like, how can we just enjoy what we've got right now? And we were very much like that. Like, okay, we've got 4 months, so let's just see what happens. But I think the type of people we are, it does just go very deep very quickly.
Yeah, it certainly did. And I think again, yeah, you stating straight away that you weren't going to be here for long. I think we even had the conversation when we said something along the lines of, well, there's no point acting any different. Like, you're not going to be here, but let's not let that, change how we want to speak to each other after a little bit of time passed, experience each other. And so obviously, yeah, things build pretty quick. So in a weird way, the fact that you are only here for a short space of time, I genuinely think was a big part of why things suddenly got very intense very quick, because it was just like, let's not waste any time. We like spending time with each other. So we kept doing that and things just continue to build. So yeah, in its own roundabout way, what could be seen as the problem, you're only here for a short period, I generally think was a big reason as to why we've got to where we are in that space of time as well.
Yeah, and I love that I have got 6 months in New Zealand coming up now, but we haven't let this be an obstacle. Not that we decided like early on. To be honest, I said to you, I don't want a long distance relationship, but naturally things have just unfolded, and I think you can't make a decision for the future version of you. You do just have to go with it and see. And yeah, things did develop. I do want to start by talking about my list as well.
Okay.
So, like, I created this list. It was actually called Rules for Boys, which in hindsight, I would change this to if I was actually looking for someone, it would be a manifestation list for the dream man.
It's quite a big list, wasn't it?
It was a big list. I created this when I was in Canada with my friend Alex last year. We like wrote down like everything that I wanted within someone. And actually my intention for creating this list was to like rule people out. It was like they have to have all of these things that I want. If they don't, then I can't be in a long-term relationship with them. It can be like a 3-month fling, but it was really to stop me getting attached to the wrong type of person, because I don't want to waste time or get an emotional attachment to someone I'm not going to be with in the long term. And that's what the list did, is it then the next period of time ruled people out within 3 months, and that was the case. And I guess like if I went in with it with the intention of finding someone, maybe I would have found someone earlier, but the list still worked at the end of the day.
So I survived the list.
You survived the list. So very early on, we always had clear communication, but it was within the first few weeks. I can't remember what I said to you, but it was like, do you want to see my list?
Yeah, and it's nice to know that it happened after a period of time. So you would obviously reference me to this list for a period of time before you told me about the list, and then you sent it through to me. So here and now that it was like a checklist before, it's quite funny to know that I passed that test before I knew it was even a thing.
You did pass the test, and yeah, again, I was like, I want someone who has all of these things, and they're things like, I mean, I should get my phone and read it out because it would be quite funny, but clear communication, someone who's healthy, open to spirituality, has their own thing, is passionate about stuff, who enjoys physical touch, because that's obviously like a big part of my love language, someone who's intense, loves deep emotional connections and conversations. There was a few things I hid on the list when I first sent it over. One of them, which was the number one, said no broke boys. So, which I did tell you about later on, but I was like, I've been manifesting broke boys and I don't want to do that anymore.
I think you actually told me about that in some way when we first met. I think you told me about like previous that you seem to attract.
Yeah.
So you said it in that way, not that you don't want that, but that you seem to attract it in the past.
Yeah. And it's because money doesn't matter to me, but I just don't want that to be.
Well, it's usually what's associated with, isn't it? And again, it's a broad statement to make, but you could argue if someone's in that position, there's normally reasons for it. So
yeah. Yeah. And then there was one other thing that I hid from the list because I wasn't sure that you would have it. But then I found out you did, and then I told you about it afterwards.
I think I do.
So he has everything on the list, and what's the girl to do when you meet someone who's got everything on your list, you know?
Make a bigger list.
I could make a bigger list, but I was very happy. These were my non-negotiables. Yeah, there's extra nice to haves. And to be honest, we found that on our first date, we met for dinner before we went to this Music is Medicine event. And I asked you before, what food do you eat? And you're like, I'm happy with whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, we went to a Turkish just because it was close by. And I got there and I said something like, you're not going to want what I'm eating.
I was worried that, yeah, like it was both the other way around, was it? So I asked you what you were going to have just to try and make a decision off of it. Thinking that I was going to be the one making the awkward decision or potentially awkward decision.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm vegetarian, mostly vegan. And then you were like, me too. And I was like, oh, like this is a nice surprise. It wasn't a non-negotiable, but it is what I want. So it was like another green tick.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's not like make or break, but it's definitely something. It helps, right? Like it does help.
Yeah. And this is what you said to me is you didn't really have a list before you met
No.
me. We're very aligned,
Mm.
but I've created a list for
Mm.
you.
You have created a list, yeah. Well, generally, there's a part of me that still believes that, someone can grow with you, but I think once you've experienced something that's of a certain level, then of course, as a human, you can't help but then compare. So if there was a future in which you had to then look towards another person and they were lacking those things that you had that were so aligned with someone else, of course you're going to notice that it's missing. So yeah, like I guess a list, whether it's a physical one or maybe just a mental one in your brain, it would start to form over time, right? The things that you want and appreciate in someone else, and the things that you know are going to move you forward as two people. That's the If you've got those things in common, like to move forward in your life, it's so much easier because it's the things I would want to do by myself. I'm basically carrying what I would do as just me as an individual forward. And if someone else is on board with that from like the start, then fantastic. Well, of course, that's going to be an incredible thing. So yeah, obviously you realize these things.
How did you feel about my list?
It made me smile. That was it. So obviously, I think with something like that, there's two ways someone could respond, really, isn't there? Someone might be a bit taken back, think like, really, like a list, or you got to respond to me. It just made me smile, like to think that, of course, like after knowing you for a little while, so it kind of makes sense. You have a list of all these things, and obviously there was a range of really sort of honest humor, meaningful things, and then just other like more playful things. So it just makes sense. The more I've got to know you, it makes sense that you would have a list like that. So it made me smile at the time, and it makes me smile now, knowing you more as a person.
Yeah, I remember your response to it. You said, I can be all of that. Let me show you.
Hmm. And picked out one in particular, didn't I? I'm sure I did in response once. That was right in the middle of the list.
Yeah, there was a sexual paragraph, I'll say, that you enjoyed.
Yeah, still do.
And I was happy to know, girls got to know.
That's why. That was part of the reason why it made me smile so much.
You've got to have that level of compatibility with a partner. And I wanted to know that like before we progressed with that.
Hmm. Yeah,
I didn't want to be disappointed.
yeah, it could have been a problem if I wasn't into it.
So communication really is key, and I think that's something that has been like so good with us. And considering we've known each other 2.5 months, which is wild, really. But we have already had not challenges, but definitely situations that have come up where I've been like, oh, that's made me feel like a bit uncomfortable. Not that you've done something,
Yeah.
but where I've noticed that something's felt uncomfortable for me, but I've voiced it and we've just been able to communicate so clearly with each other. And I feel safe to express how I feel, but I also know that I'm going to get an honest but compassionate response.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it many times, haven't you? I think if you're as two individuals, if you're like very sure of who you are as a person, then if you're gonna choose to be intimate with this person and engage them in that way, then like if there's something on your mind that's bothering you, no matter what it is, like there's that space to be able to say it. Um, but that's because we created that space, it wasn't always there. People don't say these things because they don't want to bother the other person. They don't want to maybe come across as needy or jealous or like overthinking, but because there's always been that open communication, like if it's bothering you in any sense, no matter how big or small, like we've said it, like I might not have the perfect response, but I want to know if it's how you're feeling. Yeah, so that's a really nice thing. And it's definitely something we've created, but it's very simple, but also, it doesn't happen with a lot of people. People will hold stuff back because they think I don't want to come across as this.
Yeah,
But
and I have had those thoughts come into me like, oh, like, should I say this? For example, when you're on a lad's holiday. But then I'm like, well, do you know what? I'm going to say it. And I think the reason that me and you have worked so well is firstly, there was zero expectation where this was going to go. But then also, you're going to find the right person for you when you're being your authentic self and when you're just saying the things that you want to say, when you're expressing them. And we were like that from the get-go. It's not to say that I was trying to scare you off because I wasn't, but very early on, I was like, right, these are the things that could put a potential partner off, or like I've had situations in the past where these people didn't like this stuff about me. So I was like, I'm just going to throw it all on the table. These are all the things. And you were like, yep, love that about you. And I was like, oh, perfect. I want to remind people that someone will love all of the things about you that other people don't. And it's not to say that there's never going to be compromise or anything, but you don't have to settle for anything less.
no, again, not if you're sure of the person that you want to be, the type of energy you want to put out, someone's going to fully accept that. Yeah, luckily that was the case. Anything that you thought might be a bit too much, I was just like, no, I love that because I'm a little bit different. I'm more reserved. So for you to come out and just say exactly what you want is quite refreshing. And I found out anyway, like in my life, I've always been drawn to people who can speak their mind freely. I will never like change to fit other people, but I would probably still stay quiet rather than speak up in certain situations. Which means I've always been drawn to people who are the opposite, who they just almost like no filter on it, and they will just say what they're thinking, assuming it's coming from a nice place. Yeah, and obviously meeting someone and talking in a dating relationship style way, if you have that, it's quite a powerful thing. Like for me to be knowing how I am, and then to have someone come at me with that type of energy, it's like challenging and also refreshing. And I think I told you before, like it will definitely show me things. Like we're very aligned, but also there are definitely things that are like more towards opposites attracting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I knew that with you, you would push me. That was on my list. I want someone who will push me or challenge me. And I feel like the things that are your strengths wouldn't necessarily be mine, and like
Mm.
vice versa. So I know that we would push each other to grow
Mm.
and develop, which is good. We both have our own businesses. Like, as soon as I saw your page as well, you had your Instagram on your dating profile, so I gave you a stalk straight away. And I was like, oh, this is actually really nice to like connect with someone who's doing something different, but like you're still very much like
Mm.
online, and you get like the social media presence and like what it's like to start and run your own business, which most people don't get.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're always going to say, if something we want to build moving forwards, it's yeah, we're doing the same thing, just in different, well, similar fields, but different.
Yeah. And I think from the start as well, we were like, our lives could be so interesting. We both want to do retreats and move abroad. And we're kind of like fantasizing about what life could
Well,
be
it's
like.
because there's such clear overlaps between the two. It's both within the mindset and wellness space, yoga, mindset coaching, all these things, they go hand in hand anyway. So yeah, you could see that right away. And obviously, yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always loved from the get-go there was no games or anything with us
No.
either. Communication was always clear. I knew you were interested in me, vice versa.
I made it very clear, didn't I? And I think we had this conversation early on as well. It's like be prepared. Like I will be pretty full on pretty quick, but if someone reciprocates that and sends it back to you, then it's just going to build. And luckily, you allowed a space in which that was it, because that's just how I am anyway. I will go head over heels very quick if I allow myself to. So the fact that you did reciprocate it, again, another reason why we got to where we are very, very quickly. Like
Yeah.
we almost intentionally made it intense.
Well, I love
Oh,
intense.
it's something we
It's
still do.
my favorite was on the list.
Well, it's still a part of what we do, but it's no wonder when you think again, it's like hindsight. You look back, it's no wonder where we got to where we were with the type of conversations we were having, the level of them, and then if there was any time I sent a message where I thought, I hope this is received in the right way, or it might be a bit too much, never the case. It always came back with, okay, no, she actually responds to this, so let me keep doing it because that's how I want to engage with someone.
And this is it. You're never too much for the right person.
No, not at all. It's quite a nice way to look at it because I definitely think I could be for a lot of people.
Yeah. So many people label some of their what I would call strengths as weaknesses because other people don't
Mm.
see them as a strength. So for example, like me and you are both very intense. Some people don't like that. And like
No,
that's
yeah.
fine. It's not if there's not a problem with that, but obviously we're not going to be aligned with someone who's like not as intense as we are. As well as I am a sensitive person. I've always been a sensitive person, but that's something I've like, hidden in the past. I grew up thinking that that was a weakness. So especially in my teenage years, I was like, oh, I want to be unbothered. I'm going to be so chill. And I am relaxed now because I'm so self-aware and I've done so much work on myself. But I straight up said to you, I am sensitive. And it's not that you were like, oh, I love it, but you were like, oh, I'd be interested to see that side of you. Like it wouldn't scare you off.
No, not at all. I think you only really told me about that after knowing you for like a little while, like only like a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And in that time, the main feeling I got from you is you're someone who's very confident, open, like will speak your mind. So then to hear you say that, I was like, well, I kind of want to see that side as well because you're not putting on a front. That is who you are. But everyone has a human and sensitive side to them. But when someone's so seemingly so confident all the time, yeah, it was interesting. So we got to know each other. I was like, I want to see that side to it. Not because I want you to feel
I would be like, I don't want to make you upset.
Yeah, I don't want to see you in a bad way or any sense, but like obviously it's a very beautiful thing to know that like how you engage with the world and other people when you're around other people, that's you, but you know, you are all humans. We've all got stuff going on underneath, and it only comes out in usually private places. And yeah, I think that's a nice way to also connect with someone. Again, it's not like you want them to be in a place where they have to feel sensitive, but it's going to happen because you're a human. So to share that with someone, it just, I guess it deepens whatever it is you're feeling towards them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So date number one, we went to out for dinner and then we went to an event. And it was basically a meditation event, so we didn't actually speak at all. We did hold hands at the end, which is quite cute.
Laying down with your eyes closed for an hour.
Second date, I actually invited you around my house for dinner, made you dinner, and we went for a walk. And I think that time as well, we sat on the sea wall for probably like an hour, paddling. I remember that was like such a special time as well, because I am someone who is really confident, but I also do love to receive love and that masculine energy of, yeah, being cuddled.
Yeah, I like it too.
Date number three, we went out for dinner and you bought me a gift.
Yeah, I bought you those little stone things.
Crystals.
Crystals.
Crystal key chains for new beginnings and for being an empath, which I thought was very sweet.
Well, that was just the case I want to do. I think I told you, it's like it's such a small thing that you just want to do something, which is obviously a good sign as well. Like, I was meeting this person for the third time. It's like we want to see each other, but I also want to show you that there's, you know, more thought going into it. And it's not to say you have to give people stuff. But, you know, I wanted to do it, and it was a small thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, within the first month, might have even been in the first week, I was doing this 40-day mantra challenge. And it was by this man called Case Kenny. And I got an email a day and it gave a mantra, basically a journaling prompt to say a number of different things. And then you finish the mantra with like a list. So I'm trying to think of an example of one. It was like, I am ready for dot dot dot, and then like you'd write it. It was to do with relationships, but and life as well. And I remember texting you again because I was like, I'm not going to be worried about being too much. I want someone who is really aligned with me. So I was like, I feel like you'd be keen for this. I was like, would you want to do this mantra challenge with me? Every day I'll forward you the email and we can send each other our list of mantras. And I feel like that was such an amazing way to start our relationship because we got to know each other really well really soon. And I didn't hold anything back with that either. And I remember like even saying to you, I was like, oh, it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable sharing some of these things with you, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's not to say everyone should do this when they start to speak to someone, get into a relationship. If there is an opportunity to share something like that on a daily basis, of course it's going to help. And it did massively. Because you think the mantras were kind of talking about a mix of how you see yourself. So it was like kind of bigging yourself up, like, you know, talking up the good things about you, but also the places that you want to go, the things you want to see for yourself. So it was basically like you telling me in a indirect but very direct way, this is who I am, this is where I want to go. And then obviously I was sending you the same things back. Of course, that's going to help build a connection from the off. So it was a very innocent thing when you asked me to start doing it with you, but I think we can both agree, like look back on it, that was another big reason why things clicked and started to connect so well so early on.
It was deep as well. Some of them being what have been the biggest challenges that you've had and how has that made you who you are kind of thing. And I think it just made us realize how aligned we were. Like every time we shared it, we'd be like excited to see what each other's answers would be. And often they would be quite similar. But also it would be nice to read and be like, oh, we are so aligned for the future.
Yeah, it was nice again because a lot of it was like positive affirmation almost, wasn't it? Which I think even if you were just doing it for yourself, the benefits would be there. But to share it, it was just an interesting thing, you know, like that mantra challenge. You do it by yourself, the benefits are always going to be there. You're going to feel good after it. But then to share it with someone, it just worked.
Yeah,
it was a good idea. It just worked very well for us.
And I think as well, because that is me, I am someone who journals every day. It was nice to be like, oh, like someone will do this with me.
Well, yeah, well, we spoke about it before, like all these sort of practices, even though I'm a yoga teacher and practitioner, there's lots of things I don't do, like I don't journal. I don't really sitting meditate too much. I do these practices through movement most of the time. But obviously I'm within that space, so I know about it, I understand it, I'm open to talking about it, like playing around with it. So yeah, that's quite a nice thing that, if you want to do these, because to some people it's like it doesn't make sense. You get someone to journal who's just like a normal, busy 9 to 5 person. It's, sometimes there's a lot of friction with these sort of practices, but luckily, obviously, it's very much within the space that I spend a lot of time with, even if I don't practice it regularly. Um, it's something I'm open to, at least always talking about and understanding. So it's not like it makes sense to me. You have these practices. I might not do it, but I can understand, talk about it, appreciate it, respond to it, and help you kind of build it, I guess.
Yeah. And then we've been doing yoga together, which is
Yep,
nice.
love that.
And I wanted you to like, do us a private class. And the first time we did it, we got the YouTube up because you were like, "Oh, we'll just do it," and then the internet wouldn't work, and you were
Yeah, it was
forced
obviously a
to do
sign.
my
Yeah,
first class.
well, it's a nice thing. I mean, for me, obviously, yoga is a big part of what I do, a big part of my life, and it will continue to be so moving forward. I like to be a little bit more romantic with things. So I think, okay, like when you said, should we do yoga? It was like, yeah, like sharing a practice with someone on a one-to-one basis. Like, I see it as a really, really, really nice thing to do. Like, it just is. It's something that means a lot to me. I don't have this like always emotional connection to my practice, but I know it's there. So if I allow myself to talk about it and think about it, it's like, yeah, we got to share practice together. Like for me, that's like one of the ultimate ways to increase like our bond, personally, and obviously it is anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice thing. I enjoy that, like, because I love practicing it. So to do it with someone, in that way, with that context around it, yeah, I enjoy that. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. And I really wanted to do this episode to firstly let people know that life can change quick, like literally within 2.5 months. We're in a relationship, which to be fair, like people might judge us for this as well, which I'm fine with. But I just think, well, when you know, don't you? Not
Yeah,
this is not going
well,
to be right for everyone, but it's just what we're like.
it is for sure. I mean, I've known this about myself for a long time. And bearing in mind, as you know, but obviously people listening don't, like, I've not really ever been in a relationship in my adult life. Um, but I've known for a very long time I'm the sort of person that I could probably fall in love and go head over heels with someone extremely quick because I have a lot to give. I get carried away. It's what we talked about earlier. Like it could be too much for some people, but if it's not, then the potential to build in a very short space of time is there. And that's always been me. And it might scare some people off, but like I say, if someone's willing to accept it, respond to it, and give it back, then I'm not surprised we're here. Like I'm really, really not. With knowing how I am as a person, and then obviously getting to know you, it is no surprise we've got to this place because we've just acted how I would act in this situation.
Yeah.
Like,
And me too. We were chatting today and I was saying how nice it is because we're both like, which is like physical touch. And I'm never worried, like, oh, is this too much? Because we're just both like that. We're literally like, this is each other. This is us, like, not, this is like the longest we've not
well,
touched.
they can't see our legs. So
No, we are. We've got our legs wrapped around each other. But yeah, that you can meet someone and things can happen quickly. Because I know a lot of people out there like, oh, I really want to meet someone, but I can't imagine it, or I might have to know someone for X amount of time before whatever can happen. And we can put rules basically on ourselves. And it's so powerful to shift the belief that anything could happen. You could literally meet someone tomorrow. You could go out your door. I just had a community event yesterday. One of the women there I met in a crystal shop, and then she introduced me to another woman who that then I've been holding circles at her house. Literally, you go out and you can go to one place, literally around the corner from where you live, and meet one person that can change your whole life. If I hadn't come back, if I hadn't downloaded Hinge, if you'd have swiped the wrong way for me, then literally none of this would have happened.
no, that's just life. Say you just never know what's around the corner. Like we like to look into it and think, okay, maybe there's reasons these things happen. Supposed to meet when you do, but I'm just a big believer. It's like we are at the mercy of a lot of life. Obviously, you can control your own destiny for somewhat. You get to choose how you act, the things you do, the places you put yourself in, people you spend time with. But at the end of the day, you just don't know what's going to happen. Like when you walk out your door and you go about your day, you have absolutely no idea. So I guess the best way I can find to approach it to try and remove any like stress around it is just show up as yourself, interact with people as yourself. Don't change the type of person you want to be depending on where you are as much as you can. Just as long as you're always being authentic, the right people, the right things are going to happen. The wrong things are going to turn away from you. You don't know, but as long as you're doing you, like things will happen how they're supposed to be.
Yeah. And that's how we find the right person. They can find us when we're being authentic. If I hid all of the things about me that I didn't think you would like they're the things that you actually like about me. So you wouldn't, yeah, necessarily find me. The more yourself you are, the more you're going to attract the right people to you. If you're pretending to be someone else, then you're going to attract people who like the person you're pretending to be, and then you're going to be upset when they don't actually like the real you. And I know it can be hard when you've had experiences in the past that is like, oh, I've shown this side of me and X didn't like it, but they weren't meant for you. And the more you let go of the things and the people that are not right for you, that's when you're creating the space in for people who are. Like, I ended a long-term relationship last year. If I didn't let go of what was unaligned, then I would not have
Mm.
space to meet someone new. And I do really believe in divine timing as well. Like, I feel like we were meant to meet this year. And to other people, that could be like, this is not the right timing because we've come back for 4 months. Next week, I'm leaving for 6 months to the opposite side of the world. Like, yeah, we could be like, oh, this is inconvenient. But firstly, we're not making it a big deal. And also, we're like, well, if it's supposed to continue, then it's going to. And we knew pretty much from the start, but especially over the last month, we're not going to want this to end.
No, for sure. I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. I mean, part of me is like, well, you could argue it is a minor inconvenience, 6 months apart, but it's easy, obviously, to say right now because we're sitting right next to each other as well. But we're both fully aware of this. When that happens, I don't know exactly how it's going to feel on day one, a week in, 2 weeks in, but I think we're both very calm in the minds, just knowing that with what we know this is already and what it could be. I always like to try and take a step back, look at like a lot bigger picture. You think, okay, 6 months, you think, yeah, that's a long time, but is 6 months a long time when you're talking about in the space of, let's say, 6 years? Not really. So with that in mind, you think, okay, let me look at all these good things. Are they gone for 6 months? Okay, well, let's leave that there. You think, well, no, actually, if you found that, like, I want to keep that. If someone came up to me before I met you, say like 4 months ago, and said, hey, look, I'm gonna show you this person. They're only going to be here for 4 months or 3 months. You're going to get to know them. You're going to get along incredibly well. They basically showed me somehow everything I was about to experience. And it was like, but then they're going to disappear for 6 months, but they will be back. Do you still want it? I'm like, well, yeah, like, of course I'm going to take that. And they'll be like, okay, will you wait those 6 months? I'm like, well, yes. So if I try and take a step back and not view it as just me and the situation as it is and all the things attached to it, then it's not ideal. Like, we're going to be honest, it's not ideal or convenient in many ways, but it's also not a problem.
No, and what if this is actually really good for us?
Again, it's what ways you look at it, isn't it?
Because we're both in like phases where we're like prioritizing our business and like making like big changes and improvements, and like we will be prioritizing those
Yeah,
things in this period of time. And like, yeah, obviously I'd prefer like be with you
of
doing it.
course. Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what happens in the future. Like, there is so much unknown, but it's excited unknown. And we're both like quite spontaneous people. You told me from like the get-go you want to move abroad, you've been thinking about
Mm.
moving abroad. I'm open to living in different places. So who knows what's going to happen? And I think so many people would see this as an obstacle. Some people are like, I wouldn't date someone who lives in an hour away or in another city, and I'm going to live literally the opposite side of the world. And obviously, some people they won't want to do that, and that's fine. But why close yourself off to someone who feels so aligned?
Mm. Well, I think if like I'd met you last week and you said, yeah, I'm going away next week, that'd be very different, right? Obviously, this situation's very unique. We met with a good period of time to get to know each other. And because you were going away, it was like, well, let's not waste any time. So again, it's like everything we talked about. It makes complete sense why we're in this situation. We like didn't hold back just because we thought it was just going to be a limited thing. So we did. I think we even used words. It was like, well, let's just enjoy each other for the summer.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fantastic. And obviously through that things are built, but yeah, obviously it'd be different if you were like going away next week. Maybe I wouldn't look to get too attached to someone if I knew they were gonna leave me in a week's time, but
How attached are you to me?
pretty attached.
What do you love about me?
Um, I mean, many things. You know who you are. From the moment I met you, I guess like the best way to put it is there's always been this interest and intrigue towards you. It does come from you knowing exactly who you are, your values, what you stand for, what you want. But I told you on the first time I met you that there was just something that intrigued me. And the more I got to know you, that was always there, even though I got to know you better and better. You just make me feel good when I'm with you. Many reasons. I like how you talk, the things you're interested in, the things you want to do with your life. And whenever I hear you or see you as a person and where you're going to go, I can see myself as a part of it. Like if I was to feel like two little bits of like a jigsaw, you think, okay, do they fit together? I can see it. Um, yeah, I could give you so many reasons, but I think at the heart of it, you just make me feel good. I feel happy when I'm with you, and we work. Our
Yeah.
experience to this point is we are just incredibly compatible. Um, and obviously, I find you very attractive as well.
Thanks.
That always helps. And you have good size.
I think you sent me a quote one time, and it was like, "Don't wait for your king to arrive. Be the queen, building their queendom, or something like that."
Something like that, yeah,
It sounded better than that
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
but that is me. I've been focusing on my own thing. I've never been looking for someone. I'm happy on my own, but like, yeah, man would be an extra benefit to my already good life. And I think so many people are looking for like this other half and like someone to complete me. And you don't
No.
need someone to complete you. Yes, they can add to what you've already got, but
Mm.
you are going to attract someone when you're already happy with your life. You're doing what you want. You're not waiting around.
I think that's one of the most attractive qualities in someone. When you get to know someone and like they continue to do their thing. We've talked about this before as well. Like there's going to be small compromises. When you meet someone in terms of time, obviously, you suddenly spending time with someone else, you don't have as much time to do all the other things you're doing. But like there's certain things in my life that you know and appreciate, like they're always going to be there because that's part of my life. It's part of who I am. And when you actually see that person do those things as well, it's actually an attractive quality. Like on the flip side of it, like when you get people when they've come out of a relationship or you want to get someone's attention, one of the things that draws it the most is when you see them getting on with stuff, like progressing forwards and actually trying to make things happen. Because there's two ways about it, actually. We can go quite deep into this. It could be like a whole other conversation. But when someone's doing their own thing and trying to take steps forward, people either feel almost like threatened by it, like because maybe they're not doing those things, so they develop kind of like a negative feeling towards it, or you can feel inspired by it. Or if you're talking about like a relationship, then it's a very attractive quality. Like you wanting to do things, I want to do things as well. So just kind of I appreciate it. I know where it comes from, but it could go the other way. Like I say, people could yeah, not like it. It's weird to say, but people have these things, don't they? It's like, are you sure you want to do that? Have you thought about this through? Are you sure you want to move over there? What are you going to do for work? Da, da, da. Or you can see it as like good for you. Like, go on, keep doing it. Like, see
You
where you end up.
celebrated me from the start. I think I'd literally just done a women's retreat before we met, and you were like, "Well done for like doing these things, and like I want to support you." And I was like, "Oh, I've never had this before. This is nice."
Well, we talked about, and again, I think a lot of these things, if you want to have like a successful relationship, and I know we've only known each other, we've technically only been going out for like what, like a week and a bit, but like based on like the experiences and just kind of what I feel anyway, if you want one of those relationships that kind of feels different, like if we talk about like a power couple kind of vibe, it is something that you have to consciously create. I'm not saying it should be like a load of extra effort, but you're someone who knows what you want to do, but if you've got someone in your corner like encouraging you to do it, then what could you become? Like you're going to do more. It's like having a coach with you the whole time.
You do have a coach with you now.
Well, that's what you do. You know what I mean? Like if we want to create that, we're quite open to talk about it. It sounds very romantic and out there to be like, let's become one, like let's become that. And I
Yeah.
think, well, that's down to us in terms of how we act, support each other, and that's one of the easiest things to do. For you to be doing something, I'm happy to see you do it. I'm impressed. I give you energy towards it. That's actually quite an easy thing to do. It comes very natural. Um, yeah, you think you try and do life on your own, or you do it with someone when you have those little phases in your life. It can be hard to do on your own, but you can go very far. You can push yourself very far. You got someone else pushing you. It's like you've got a heavy object. It's easier to push it with like one person or two people. Push it with two, like if you can, if it's there. So yeah, this whole idea of creating a relationship, those relationships where you think that's what I want, like when you find someone, you can consciously create that with them, and that just comes through communication and support, predominantly, amongst other things.
Yeah.
So,
We have got no idea what's in store for us. Literally from next week, we've got no idea what's going to happen. We don't know what country we'll next see each other in. We don't know when we'll be physically together, when we might live together, or anything.
all I know is you're leaving me.
Yeah,
You're the one leaving me.
you could come.
I could come, to be fair.
Which we did joke around about right at the start. It was maybe like 2 weeks in, you were like, if you asked me to come, I probably would.
Well, to me, that again, that plays into kind of what we talked about already. I'm there from the beginning, like almost like stupidly in before I even knew who you really were. I would have been like, yeah, I'd entertain the idea.
Yeah, and not that I've not asked you to come. It's not like I'm like I don't want you to come,
Mm.
but just in the reality when we've spoke about it afterwards, there is like a few other things, sorting out in business and whatever that you'd like to do before you move abroad to the other side of the world with
Yeah,
someone that you've met for 3 months ago. Although it wouldn't
it's
surprise me if we had done that too.
no, it wouldn't surprise me either. But it's one of those things we talked about. It's like, yeah, it could happen, but it doesn't need to happen. Like, I think a part of that would be like a bit of an instant reaction. It's probably why we talked about it early on, because maybe it was a part who was worried. It's like, but you're going to go, okay, but we could do this. Whereas now we can actually look at it a lot more logically and be like, there's not a need for that big gesture commitment because that's what's going to keep this going. It's like, no, actually, you could go for 6 months. We might not see each other, and I'm very confident that that's going to be okay. Obviously, it'll be hard as it goes through. It's going to be a little bit, but yeah, I think the idea of moving was still an idea, but also feels like less needed. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
beforehand, it was like you might needed that little bit of something to give us both the confidence that, okay, yeah, we can keep doing this. Whereas now I think we've got to a point where it's like, no, it's not ideal. It's like we've been together for 3 years. He was like, okay, I'm going away for 6 months for whatever reason. But like, okay, let's deal with it. Deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so watch this space. We'll see what happens. But I hope everyone's enjoyed this. And yeah, who knows what's around the corner. Don't let obstacles get in the way that don't matter and be yourself. You'll attract the right person for you. And take away the pressure to be like, oh, this has to be work out this way.
Mm.
And how can you enjoy the present moment and what's available for you?
Was this podcast about relationships?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well,
I was just thinking how to like what the last thing to say.
yeah, what do you want to say?
So from a person who's now been in a grand total of two relationships in my entire adult life, I would just say like when you're looking for it, you have to be very careful because when you look for it, you're trying to pull things in and fit them into your life, which is often why you find people and it doesn't work out. I'm not saying like it's wrong to look for a relationship, but you just have to be mindful of what you really want. Like you want to be in a relationship, but you don't want to be with just anyone. So if you are someone who's like needing that one, obviously I would always say you can get a lot of that from yourself. Like you don't need another person. Um, but yeah, don't rush it. Don't try to force things. Don't settle. Know your value. Know your worth. You will know when you find someone who's worth investing in because you will just feel it. I know it sounds so cliche, but you will just feel it. If it doesn't feel right, chances are it's probably not.
Yeah.
If it feels right, follow it, see where it goes. And also be open to like trying again and again. Like, you can feel something, it doesn't quite work out for whatever reasons. Things happen in their own time.
I always say to people, because I work with a lot of clients who are looking for a relationship, and I'm like, if you meet someone and it doesn't work out, that's still evidence that you're meeting people who are
Mm.
more aligned. You're just getting closer. You're getting closer and closer. And if it's not this, it's something even better.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I've had clients meet partners. I had one woman literally say it to me, declare it, and then literally the next week she met someone. The more authentic you are being, and the more you love your life and create a life that you love, like that is when you're attracting people. That's a natural effect. So I would focus on that rather than finding people. But also, if you do want someone, how can you open the channels to be able to receive someone? Because if I didn't download Hinge, I wouldn't have found you. Realistically,
True,
because you
yeah.
live an hour away. So for me, the channels were join the gym and go on Hinge, like, be open to it.
Mm.
And follow your intuition. I'm always meeting random people, going to events that I'm interested in. Do the things that you like doing, because that's where you're going to meet the people that are aligned with you. I've enjoyed having you on the podcast. I know people are going to be interested.
Yeah.
You're going to give me a kiss.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know if you're allowed to on the podcast.